You are a golden horned beast. You just crawled out of an eggshell, only to find you wandered onto the wrong set. Above your head is the Sea of Douluo continent. Chasing you is a demon soul great white shark. You open your mouth and suck the shark, soul ring and all, into your belly, chewing it like strawberry pudding. Before you even digest it, you run straight into a pirate ship. At the bow stands a woman named Violet Pearl. One of her underlings, a soul king, raises a harpoon and stabs it at you. Without even looking, you slap him away. He explodes, man and spear alike. Your soul ring floats in midair. You take a quick breath. The taste isn't bad, like the pearls in bubble tea. The whole crew's legs go weak with fear, but Violet Pearl steps up to the bow and says to you, "You want me, right? But you have to let my companions go." You tilt your head in the sea, wondering if this woman's lost her mind. Because, you're a star beast from swallowing the starry sky on this Douluo continent besides yourself. No one is worthy of being your opponent. This Pearl's sacrifice saved the whole crew. But at this moment, several formidable auras on the sea surface are breaking through the air from Sea God Island's direction. They seem to be at the planetary level strength. The Golden Horn Beast relies on inherited memories to judge an opponent's strength. It uses the power system standard of devouring the starry sky. The first warrior of Sea God Island before them, Sea Dragon Douluo. By Douluo continent standards, he is a level 95 titled Douluo, placed into the devouring the starry sky world. He is roughly equivalent to planetary stage 5, but there is a gap in raw power. Planetary level power can reach 2 million kilograms. Sea Dragon Douluo's 9th soul ring barely touches that threshold. It barely counts as reaching it. This is the first true expert the Golden Horned Beast has encountered since birth. Not far away, an even more powerful woman floats in midair, in a long dress with sleeves flowing, holding a scepter in hand, with a majestic gaze. The moment she appears, the churning sea instantly calms. This is the level 99 demigod Sea God Douluo, Poseidon, the invincible existence of this sea whose strength is infinitely close to stellar level, making her a troublesome opponent. The newly hatched Golden Horned Beast currently only has the strength of planetary stage 2 to 3, but combined with its own powerful attack and unmatched defense, even facing Poseidon head-on, it may not necessarily lose. As a starry sky beast, it can devour almost all matter on a planet, especially metal, which greatly boosts its combat power. But there isn't enough time for it to grow now. This sea area is where the Sea God's inheritance is brewing. The Shrek 7 Devils have already accepted the Sea God's trials. Tang-san is making his mark. Deep in the sea, the greatest gift prepared for Tang-san is still hidden. The overlord of the deep sea region, the deep sea demon king. Bo-Sixie absolutely cannot allow any accidents here. The moment she senses an unknown soul beast's aura, she rushes over. She must eliminate all instability. She must never interfere with the Sea God's plan. She didn't strike directly. She first sent the Sea God Island's strongest warrior, Sea Dragon Douluo, into action. Surely that will be enough to handle the circuit. You all leave quickly. This is not a battle you can take part in. Seahorse Douluo stands in front of Purple Pearl, urging the pirate ship to sail away as fast as possible. Clearly intending to clear the area, Purple Pearl narrowly escapes with her life. She is endlessly grateful. Thank you, sir. We will surely turn over a new leaf from now on. Seahorse Douluo waves his hand impatiently. His gaze falls back on the battlefield. His heart tightens inexplicably. He always feels that the Golden Horned Beast is... It's not that simple. The moment they collided, it erupted. The Sea Dragon Douluo didn't take the Golden Horned Beast seriously. He only unleashed his 7th soul skill from the start. His Sea Dragon Martial Soul true form turned into a giant dragon, circling above his head, waiting for the right moment to strike. Wang Shen stared intently at the giant dragon above him. Every cell was filled with explosive power, ready to spring up and grab that big loach down at any moment. At the same time, he searched through the Golden Horned Beast's inherited memories, looking for attack techniques. Star beasts are born with over 3,000 innate secret arts, no extra learning needed through inheritance. His innate ability was devouring, but it had limited use against opponents stronger than himself. Soon, he picked a suitable secret art, Heaven and Earth Avatar. It allowed free control over body size. Shrinking increased power. Standing tall increased movement and flight speed. To lull the sea dragon into complacency, he tucked his wings beneath his scales. His belly was pitch black, with half his body submerged in the sea. Nothing was visible at all. The sea dragon circled 5 times, probably trying to show off in front of Poseidon, then suddenly dove straight down. Wanting a one-hit kill, the golden-horned giant beast suddenly spread its wings, propelling its true body through the heavens and earth. Its originally 5-meter-long body instantly expanded several times over, becoming as large as a giant dragon. I charged forward with the force of the impact. "What?" the sea dragon exclaimed. There was no time to react at all. The single horn atop the golden-horned giant beast's head slammed hard into the giant dragon's belly. A booming explosion rang out. The martial soul true body was directly forced. Sea Dragon Douluo, like a kite with a broken string, flew far away. In a flash of lightning, the golden-horned giant beast's golden horn first shattered the martial soul true body's defense. Then it bit down on its opponent, exposing the red true body. The energy halo was directly bitten and shattered by it. Several 1,000-year and 100-year soul rings were directly swallowed into its stomach. Only 2 10,000-year soul rings remained undigested. Tastes really good. A level 95 titled Douluo. Too bad your soul rings aren't at the 100,000-year level. The golden-horned giant beast's roar fell upon Sea Dragon's ears. like a death knell. With one strike, he was directly crippled. If not for his sturdy body, his ribs would have all broken from that blow just now. No, Sea Dragon Douluo. Poseidon was still calm at first, but upon seeing this, she cried out in shock. Too far away and caught off guard. There was no time to rescue him. By the time the others pulled Heilong out of the sea, he was already unconscious, on the verge of death. Not a shred of soul power remained. Completely crippled. You take Heilong Douluo and leave first. Leave this thing to me. Poseidon's gaze turned grave. Having lived for so long, she had never seen such a bizarre soul, a beast that can change size at will, and even devour a soul master's soul rings as snacks. After absorbing Heilong Douluo's soul power, the golden-horned giant beast's body grew a size larger. Its length reached 9 meters. Its height exceeded 5 meters. Its rank directly rose to planetary 5th stage. Its pitch-black scales gleamed coldly in the sunlight. Its ferocious appearance made people's legs go weak. Lady Poseidon, we should retreat back to Sea God Island first. Sea Maiden Douluo's voice trembled. He is a native of this sea area. Even the legendary deep-sea demon Spirit King was not this terrifying. Her intuition told her, even Poseidon would struggle against this monster. But Poseidon refuses to back down. As the guardian of Sea God Island, she absolutely cannot fail at this critical moment. Tang-san is about to return for the 8th Sea God trial. She must not let this monster affect anything. I think you should listen to this mermaid. I won't go easy on you just because you're a woman. I'll show no mercy. The golden-horned beast's eyes were full of disdain. After its power increased, the 3,000 inheritances in its mind became clearer and clearer. Across the entire Douluo continent, someone who could force her onto the defensive probably hasn't even been born yet. Even the clear sky hammer in Tang-san's hands would at most be just an appetizer. Metal, especially precious metals, could boost its power drastically. Poseidon would never expect that. You all go first. That's an order. Poseidon's tone was resolute, carrying an unyielding authority. While covering her subordinates' retreat, her soul rings lit up one by one. As the guardian of Sea God Island, her soul rings embodied a perfect 100,000-year scale. Watching that red soul ring light up, the golden-horned beast couldn't help licking its lips. The energy of a 100,000-year soul ring must be even purer. The taste must be delicious. Poseidon sensed the other's greedy gaze. She let out a cold snort. She poured all her strength into her scepter. The once calm sea instantly churned. Torrential rain poured down. One after another, giant waves 100 meters tall crashed toward the golden-horned beast like walls of water. It was the sea god's domain, endless future. She unleashed her domain's ultimate move right away. Poseidon was clearly on high alert. A flicker of contempt flashed in the golden-horned beast's eyes. He opened his massive maw and let out a mighty roar. This was no ordinary sound wave. It was a secret art carrying sonic energy. The surrounding air was distorted. A stream of white air burst from his mouth. It slammed hard into the surging waves. The two forces collided. The low-level soul beasts across the sea suffered the consequences. Countless fish and shrimp floated to the surface belly up. The armored creatures were shattered to pieces. The air was thick with the stench of blood. What shocked Poseidon even more was that her sea god's domain had actually failed. The golden-horned beast's sonic wave directly dismantled the giant water vortex formed by the clash of opposing forces. It instead swirled back toward her. Poseidon's body lit up with golden sea god's light. She easily blocked the water vortex. The first clash. The two were evenly matched. I didn't expect you to have some skills. What about this move? Poseidon had always been the ruler of this sea. She never expected this newly emerged monster to actually be able to contend with her. She directly unleashed her 9th soul skill, Sea God's Bone Purification. Before the golden-horned giant beast could react, the seawater condensed into silver chains, firmly binding its 4 limbs, its wings, and the single horn on its head. This move could immobilize all enemy actions, and suppress soul power as well. But the golden-horned giant beast was not a soul beast of the Douluo continent at all. This soul skill's suppression effect on it was negligible. Moreover, it could devour all forms of energy. Sensing it couldn't break free, the golden-horned giant beast directly activated its innate skill, Devour. An adult golden-horned giant beast could even swallow planets. Why would it fear these energy chains? A powerful suction force emanated from its mouth. The chains binding its neck were instantly sucked into its belly and converted into usable energy. The entire process took less than 0.01 seconds. Poseidon was completely stunned. This terrifying monster had actually devoured the chains condensed by her 9th soul skill, like pulling noodles. He sucked them in one after another. Not a trace of energy leaked out. What on earth is this? For the first time, fear rose in Poseidon's heart. This is not something ordinary humans can fight against. Could it be a sleeping, ancient, divine beast? This thing tastes pretty good, like ice cream. The golden-horned giant beast ate it with relish. But Poseidon's heart turned cold. That was his 9th soul imprint, and it was just eaten like that. He had no knowledge of the starry universe. Everything about the monster before him exceeded his imagination. The cowardly thought of not being able to win uncontrollably sprang up in his mind. Just then, a large splash rose from the distant sea. A huge group of creatures was rushing over. The golden-horned giant beast recognized them at once as the demon soul great white sharks. Last time he ate one like a spicy strip. This time a whole group came. The one leading them carried a light of the sea god similar to Poseidon's. It was none other than Xiaobai, the king of the demon soul great white sharks, 100,000-year-old beast. Once the sea god's mount, she must have come to support Poseidon. Xiaobai, don't come over here. This guy is not someone you can fight against. Poseidon was both anxious and relieved. He already knew the terror of the golden horned giant beast. He didn't want the demon soul great white shark to get dragged into this. But Xiaobai was stubborn. She wouldn't listen to any advice. She led her subordinates and surrounded this sea area. Dozens of demon soul great white sharks circled around the two, looking for attack positions. They even knew how to use tactics. Lord Poseidon, we'll hold him off here. Please hurry back to Sea God Island to take charge. Xiaobai's words awakened Poseidon. Fighting the golden-horned giant beast at sea gave them no advantage. Back on Sea God Island, they had the terrain advantage, and the light of the sea god. She could also summon the power of the sea god. It might not be impossible to win. Xiaobai, you must not get too caught up in the fight. Leave once you've done enough. Don't worry, we are servants of the sea god. We won't easily let this outsider defile this sea. Xiaobai was full of confidence. As her words fell, she transformed directly into a beautiful human form. A 100,000-year soul beast could naturally transform. The golden-horned giant beast saw it clearly. His cultivation system was different from Douluo continents. To take a form, you must rely on body snatching. Just like Luofeng in Swallowing Starry Sky, you need a main body and a clone. At the very least, you must grow to the star level. The only way to boost strength right now is to keep devouring. Whether it's soul ring creatures or precious metals, his ultimate goal is to return to the Swallowing Starry Sky world and snuff him out before Luofeng grows strong, to avenge the 7 Chi Elder who was body snatched back then. Watching Poseidon leave, along with the evasive demon soul great white sharks around, a low growl rumbled from the golden-horned beast's throat. His swollen body slowly shrank, even smaller than his normal state. He was treating these demon soul great white sharks like a fresh crop of chives. Before the other side could react, the golden-horned beast charged like an out-of-control locomotive, ramming through the sea recklessly. The demon soul great white shark's formation instantly fell into chaos. Before him, these sharks had no power to resist at all. A single slap could send over a dozen flying. One bite could sever 3 of them cleanly in half. His scales were razor sharp. A single graze meant certain death. In the blink of an eye, nearly 50 demon soul great white sharks had been taken down, dying horribly on the spot. You damn little white shark! Watching her companions being slaughtered, she had long forgotten Poseidon's warning. With a shriek, she transformed back into her great white shark form, over 20 meters in body length, longer than 2 golden-horned behemoths combined. She unleashed her strongest innate skill, grinding abyss, soul power teeth that pierced through a hail of bullets, instantly covering the space around the golden-horned behemoth. Its attack power rivaled a level 97 sword Douluo's ultimate move. The entire sea was swept by powerful shockwaves. The golden-horned behemoth was caught off guard. It could only raise its claws to shield its eyes in passive defense. Clanging collisions rang out in a continuous stream. Water splashes and mist exploded outward. Countless bubbles surged up, directly shrouding the golden-horned behemoth's figure. Did she manage to take it down? Don't be silly. Is that even possible? This is my strongest attack. Staring at the vast expanse of white before her, the leader of the demon soul great white sharks. A faint, relaxed smile finally appeared on Xiaobai's face, but seeing her companions floating on the sea surface, left behind by the finger snap that split the sea, that smile froze again. That black monster was too terrifying. No one knew where it had come from. The entire Douluo continent had never heard of such a soul beast. At least Xiaobai succeeded. But whether this success truly counts is another question. Because very quickly, that white mist of water scattered away. The golden-horned giant beast appeared once more. Not only was it completely unharmed, but after being washed by the water vapor, this guy's scales were even cleaner. Its whole body looked even more imposing. Well, what kind of insane defensive power is this? You know, that was Xiaobai's full power attack just now. The leader of the demon soul great white shark clan, the combat power she possessed, was comparable to a level 97 titled Douluo's strength. One could even say it surpassed it. But in front of this giant monster before her, Xiaobai felt so powerless. Do you have any other tricks? Suddenly, the golden-horned giant beast spoke. It actually uttered human language. In truth, when it was surrounded by the water vapor earlier, it wasn't that it had no chance to strike, but rather it used that brief moment to refine as much of the power it had absorbed as possible, especially the soul ring of the sea dragon Douluo. Upon it carried many of that titled Douluo powerhouse's techniques. Naturally, the golden-horned giant beast learned human language, but it still seemed far from being able to take human form. The key was not knowing what the principle of that transformation was. You've actually learned the language of our world. Seeing this black beast before her speaking human words, Xiaobai's heart was instantly thrown into turmoil. Based on all previous calculations, this golden-horned giant beast should have just hatched, nowhere near the 100,000-year level. According to the rules of Douluo continent, these high-level soul beasts, only after surpassing 100,000 years, can they gain the ability to communicate with humans. Where exactly do you come from? Since the other party could communicate, Xiaobai grew somewhat curious. But even as she asked, this demon soul great white shark still kept her distance from the golden-horned giant beast, and her eyes showed a hint of fear. I naturally come from the vast universe, from up above, afraid the shark before her wouldn't understand. The golden-horned giant beast raised its head. signaling that it came from the cosmos above. But for the creatures of Douluo continent, they had no concept of the universe, because according to ancient legends, above Douluo continent there exists another world, the so-called divine realm. Xiaobai's former master, the sea god, had ascended to the divine realm after breaking through level 100. Hearing the other party's words, Xiaobai suddenly understood a bit. No wonder we couldn't beat you. So you're from the divine sword. Well, this is a beautiful misunderstanding. The golden horned giant beast couldn't be bothered to explain. If it weren't for the human soul inside its body, this creature would have charged up long ago and torn the demon soul great white shark clan leader in front of it to shreds. Why would it still be having this much dialogue with him? Damn it, everyone scatter and retreat! After mistakenly identifying the other's identity, Xiaobai led the remaining demon soul great white sharks and turned around to flee. But while fleeing, this creature kept looking back, as if teasing the golden horned giant beast to make it chase after her. What's going on here? Has Xiaobai's brain rusted or something? Where do you think you're running? So the golden horned giant beast fiercely chased after her. Logically speaking, its speed was astonishingly fast now, and it could even use secret techniques. But this demon soul great white shark clan leader didn't look like she was running for her life. She clearly wanted to lure the opponent away. Having watched the anime and read the original work before, Wang Shen didn't think that woman named Xiaobai was an idiot. He's an idiot. They must be doing this for a reason. What could it be? Just follow them and we'll find out. It's not what I imagined. Their direction seems to be away from Sea God Island, opposite to where they fought before. In the distance, a small dark spot is still faintly visible. That is Sea God Island. But now, the demon soul great white shark is leading the opponent toward another sea area? There's an ambush ahead. No way, these guardians of Sea God Island. Have they lost their minds, trying to deal with a golden horned giant beast at a time like this? And this strategy of Xiaobai's might be able to confuse the golden horned giant beast. But it cannot fool Poseidon. When this guardian of Sea God Island heard that the surviving demon soul great white shark had returned, Bai Suchu was so angry she stamped her feet. Your mother was too reckless. All of you wait here for me. Don't go anywhere. After saying these words, Poseidon, who knew she couldn't defeat the golden horned giant beast, leaped into the air once again, charging toward the direction where those two had disappeared. Because in that direction lay the most terrifying existence in the entire sea. Even the sea god back then, upon seeing that creature, had to show it 3 parts of respect. Yes, the boss of that territory was the true overlord of this sea, the deep sea demon Gold King. This creature was said to be a soul beast of the million-year level. It had already completed its transformation. If it weren't for the fact that on the Douluo continent there was an unspoken rule that soul beasts couldn't become gods, this creature would have long since broken through 100 times. Perhaps Xiaobai thought that no one on Sea God Island was a match for the golden-horned giant beast, so she simply used herself as bait to attract that terrifying creature ahead, to seek out the deep-sea demon Crystal King. That creature is nothing like Poseidon. Though it's already infinitely close to level 100, it shows no mercy whatsoever. So that sea area is known as the Sea of Death, unless you go while the deep-sea Platinum King is sleeping. Otherwise, anyone who approaches that sea area will only meet their death, and that includes Xiaobai, even though this woman's strength is already equivalent to a title Douluo of around level 97, a Douluo powerhouse. But before the deep-sea demon king, it's still not enough. It seems Xiaobai is ready to die, and drag the golden horned giant beast down with her. You wouldn't have brought me to the deep-sea demon Crystal King's territory, would you? As a transmigrator. Wang Shen, after following for a while, finally noticed Xiaobai's intention, and upon hearing that name, the leader of the demon soul great white sharks turned back in shock. Then with a graceful leap, mid-air once again, she transformed back into that beautiful woman's form. I never expected that you'd also know about the deep-sea demon Crystal King. Unfortunately, it's too late. While transforming, Xiaobai simultaneously released her soul power in all directions, and kept using every possible method to furiously slap the water's surface, making a huge commotion. This was clearly meant to summon the most terrifying deep-sea Platinum King. Good grief, aren't you afraid of death? Hoo-la-la, it came very fast. In the seawater beneath both of them, a massive shadow appeared, rising to the surface at top speed, carrying a dark red glow that pierced one's heart. It was said that back then, for stealing the sea god's spotlight, the deep-sea demon Platinum King had one eye gouged out. Although this creature had many eyes on its body, of its 2 main ones, only one remained, and the red light that surfaced along with that enormous deep-sea shadow was none other than the glow emanating from the deep-sea demon Platinum King's single eye. Is it about to come out? Toward that massive shadow about to surface. The golden-horned beast was not afraid at all, its tone even carrying a hint of excitement. How should that feeling be described? Like a big-name celebrity about to appear in a live stream. The kind saved for the grand finale. The most popular type. Whether male or female, everyone cheers when they see them. In this stretch of sea, the deep-sea demon king is that kind of popular figure. But this overlord is not easy to meet. It's said that back then, aside from Tang San, there was hardly anyone who could escape the pursuit of the deep-sea demon king. Huh, you terrifying demon, you finally awakened. Today, your auntie here has brought you guests. Watching that massive shadow about to appear, Xiaobai's face wore a bitter smile. Ever since entering this area, this clan leader of the demon soul great white shark knew that she had already been locked onto. Today, she'd be lucky to leave this bubble alive, perhaps because of seeing Xiaobai. Or maybe sensing that powerful bloodline force of the golden horned beast. After the deep-sea demon king surfaced, it didn't immediately attack the two of them. Instead, it used its massive single eye to stare maliciously at the two prey before it. Clan leader of the demon soul great white shark, are you tired of living as a million-year level soul beast? The deep-sea demon king could naturally communicate with them in human language. This creature could even awaken at any moment. Didn't I just say that? Your granny here has brought you something delicious today. Little Bai, in human form, pointed at the golden-horned giant beast still soaking in the water. Although it had previously absorbed so much power from the demon soul great white shark, the golden-horned giant beast's body length had expanded to about 20 meters, but this deep-sea demon crystal king's body length was at least 150-200 meters. Add in its broad physique, and the golden-horned giant beast was practically nothing in front of it. It was like a small tadpole in front of a giant sea turtle, completely beneath notice. What's the background of this kid? It actually made you think of the scheme of killing with a borrowed knife. The deep-sea demon crystal king wasn't stupid either. Although the golden-horned giant beast before it looked small in size, it gave the deep-sea demon crystal king a feeling of deep apprehension. And just as this creature raised its head, it sensed a familiar power approaching from afar. It's Poseidon. Why is this woman here too? Could she also be after this little black creature? Deep-sea demon king, so you're a coward too. Are you afraid of this divine beast? Seeing the deep-sea demon king remain unmoved, Xiaobai grew anxious, even resorting to provocation. Normally, the deep-sea demon king wouldn't fall for it so easily, but upon hearing the words divine beast, the light in his eyes suddenly blazed. You're saying this thing came from the divine realm? What else would it be? Do you think it's a useless piece of trash like you, who can't even reach level 100? Shut up, all divine realm creatures deserve to die. Demon soul great white shark, you won't leave here alive either. It seemed Xiaobai's words struck a nerve in the deep-sea demon king, instantly driving him into a frenzy. The creature charged like a massive luxury cruise ship, at full throttle, heading straight for Xiaobai. And the golden-horned giant beast, the former thanks to its agility, leapt straight into midair. And with that, on the surface, only the deep-sea demon king and the golden-horned giant beast remained. Whether or not it was the so-called kill with a borrowed knife. And regardless of what became of Xiaobai in the end, as long as he could see the deep-sea demon king and this uninvited guest clash, it's to avenge those previous demonic soul great white sharks. Seeing how hard you're trying? I'll take this seriously just this once. As the golden-horned giant beast uttered these words, this sovereign, the heavenly emperor, his body rapidly expanded once again. From 20 meters to 80 meters, from 80 meters to 150 meters, from 150 meters to 200 meters. By the time the deep-sea demon king charged before him, the golden-horned giant beast's size was almost on par with that giant fish. Oh, that was a red pillar of light, composed purely of soul power, carrying boundless killing intent, surging toward the golden-horned giant beast. With that formidable energy impact, it arrived in an instant amid towering waves. Though somewhat amazed by the opponent's trick of growing and shrinking, the deep-sea demon king was battle-hardened after all, and could of course handle all kinds of situations. A mere trick. Watch my lion monkey. Ever since he had comprehended that technique of producing sound waves through the monkey, the golden-horned giant beast named this secret art the lion's roar. It even had a bit of a martial arts master's flair to it. Unlike the red light the opponent spat out, this lion's roar's light wave was pure white. Soon these two energies collided head-on. Boom, 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 what a show! It ended up being a draw. Even though the current golden-horned giant beast has already surpassed the strength of a level 97 titled Douluo Powerhouse. But the deep-sea demon whale king before him has even higher soul power, having already reached the demigod stage. And not long ago, it had just completed its dragon transformation, granting it even greater divine power. Unexpectedly, the deep-sea demon whale king's full-force strike was blocked by a similar move from its opponent. How could this be? Though shocked inwardly, the deep-sea demon whale king is after all experienced. With its first strike failing, a second attack immediately swept in. This time it wasn't a magical attack, but a solid physical one. This move could be called the divine dragon swings its tail. Then the deep-sea demon whale king's body suddenly lay flat across the water's surface. With a massive turn, it executed a divine dragon swings its tail, that enormous whale tail, like a towering pillar, slammed toward the golden-horned giant beast before it. The force was so immense that even a level 99 Poseidon might not be able to block it. It was truly earth-shattering. Well done! I too have a new secret technique I want to test on you, once every 4 days. This is the tearing move from the golden-horned beast's inherited secret art. Among the heaven-splitting, earth-rending techniques, it is the most powerful ritual. Then he saw in midair, a bloody stench suddenly spread out. Then the blood energy slowly condensed, forming a massive energy claw. Upon looking, it was an enlarged version of the golden-horned beast's right front claw. The claw was over 100 meters long, carrying an inconceivably terrifying aura. It charged forward against the opponent's divine dragon wag's tail. Ha! Crunch, sizzle, sizzle! What's going on? This clash was not as evenly matched as before, but produced the most obvious result. The tail of the deep-sea demon spirit king, bent like a broken bone, curving into an utterly inconceivable arc. Then it broke my tail. That was a heaven-shaking roar, coming from the deep-sea demon crystal king. Next, this guy started screaming like a pig being slaughtered. His massive body kept tumbling across the sea surface. The seawater was instantly dyed red with blood. Clearly, it was the heaven-splitting, earth-rending inherited secret art of the golden horn beast. It achieved obvious results. Only one chamber was used, 4 days in total. It gave the deep-sea demon king a huge surprise, and Xiaobai, watching from the sidelines, could hardly believe his own eyes by now. What's going on? That's the legendary overlord of this ocean. The deep-sea demon king! How could he be slapped flying by someone? As an onlooker, Xiaobai didn't grasp how powerful that strike from the golden horn beast really was, because he had a preconceived notion from the start, thinking the golden horn beast would be defeated. But he never expected the outcome to be completely the opposite. Was it a trick of the eyes? Or was the deep-sea demon king holding back? No, that's absolutely impossible. Even if the deep-sea demon king wanted to hold back, he wouldn't let himself suffer such a severe wound. The losing his tail wasn't fatal. It could still cut off the deep-sea demon king's mobility. Seeing this giant fish writhing, in agony on the sea's surface, you should know how vicious that blow just now was. So this is the strength of a planetary rank 9 powerhouse? As for the deep-sea demon king's performance, the golden horn beast gave it a thumbs down. If it weren't for the premature hatching back then, his initial strength could have reached roughly equivalent to over level 100 on this Douluo continent. If the golden-horned giant beast entered the Douluo continent in this form, it would simply be invincible under heaven. Whether it's Poseidon or the deep-sea platinum king, he could swat them all with a single slap. But this kind of overwhelming domination isn't that fun. Leveling up slowly, exploring this new world bit by bit is the real way. According to the timeline's calculations, Luofeng from Swallow Star won't break through to star level for a very, very long time. As long as the golden-horned giant beast trains hard on this Douluo continent, and then heads to the blue planet. Who knows who will come out on top then? After tumbling around on the sea surface for a while, the deep-sea demon spirit king finally stepped forward. The creature sank its injured tail into the water, revealing its ferocious face, glaring viciously at the opponent with its one remaining eye. But in reality, this creature had long since harbored thoughts of retreat. The golden-horned giant beast was too terrifying. The deep-sea demon spirit king even believed the opponent hadn't even used its full strength. There is a huge gap in strength between the two. The difference is not just a little. What's wrong? I heard you're the bug in this sea area. Are you ready to be taken down? As he said this, the golden-horned giant beast slowly moved closer to its prey. That look in its eyes, that movement was like a cat playing with a mouse. Each time, the cat doesn't kill the mouse outright. Instead, it keeps catching and releasing it over and over, until it gets bored, then finishes the prey. The relationship between these two sea beasts right now was exactly like that. Gurgle, gurgle, without any warning. The deep-sea demon king, who was just staring at its opponent, suddenly chose to dive down, diving endlessly, fleeing toward the deepest part of the ocean. This guy was so scared it had no courage to face the golden horn. It only hoped to find a safe place, to live in disgrace. But the golden-horned giant beast had already anticipated this. Its body also sank down rapidly. As a starry sky giant beast, this creature could even roam freely in the airless void of space, let alone in water. Although its body was not streamlined, it possessed incredible propulsion. In less than 2 seconds, it caught up with its prey. Where do you think you're going? Get up there! Using its front claws, it grabbed hold of the deep-sea demon king's back. Ignoring the big fish's frantic struggles, the golden-horned beast quickly surfaced. Then, with both claws exerting force, it actually seized the deep-sea demon king's massive body and hurled it out of the sea. The height was over 500 meters. The deep-sea demon king never dreamed it would be toyed with like this. A deep sense of fear and helplessness suddenly surged within it. Don't kill me! I can tell you the secrets of the divine realm. Looking at the golden-horned beast sharpening its claws on the ground, the deep-sea demon king let out a blood-curdling roar, but what awaited it was the golden-horned beast's terrifying form. Terrifying! What a scene that was. A fearsome giant that had ruled the entire sea for who knows how many years was torn apart in midair. Wave after wave of powerful soul force surged forth, surging out from his body, condensing into a million-year soul ring. Its red-gold color, like a newborn sun, shines brilliantly in this overcast sky. Also separated out was a massive piece of the deep-sea demon gold king's bone. Its size, roughly the dimensions of a burly young man's outer garment. Good heavens, the deep-sea demon gold king has fallen just like that. You know, this creature was essential for Tang San's upcoming 8th trial of the sea god, the million-year soul ring, and that powerful bone. But the sea god left them for his successor. The very reason Poseidon and Sea God Island exist is to protect all of this. But now what has happened? The belatedly arriving Poseidon witnessed with her own eyes the deep-sea demon gold king being torn apart. At the same time, she also saw the prematurely appearing soul ring and soul bone. No good, the sea god's succession plan has been severely disrupted. At this moment, Poseidon was almost going mad. So, this woman once again unleashed her 9th soul skill. Because Poseidon's 9th soul ring is red, above the 100,000-year level, so it can grant its host 2 soul rings. The 9th soul ring summons the sea god. This is definitely a trump card among trump cards. If she weren't forced into a corner, Poseidon would never use this move. On one hand, it disrupts the sea god, nearly draining all the soul power from his body. On the other hand, the sea god summoned here can only possess about 2 levels of, but Poseidon no longer cares about that now. If the sea god doesn't act now, What originally belonged to Tang San will be lost forever. That would completely affect the sea god's fate. Such a thing absolutely cannot be allowed to happen. Lord Sea God, this is the limit of what I can do. Looking at the golden figure appearing in midair, Poseidon points ahead. At this moment, the golden horned giant beast is about to enjoy its spoils of war, the golden soul ring, and that enormous soul bone. Kid, you've taken something that doesn't belong to you. Return it now. Though the sea god has never seen a golden horned giant beast, this great deity understands perfectly well. He simply waves his hand. The crimson gold soul ring and the massive soul bone. He vanished in an instant before the golden horned giant beast. He was taken along by the sea god's secret technique. Poseidon, my servant, take them and leave this place quickly. Xiaobai, you take him. This sea god is really too unscrupulous. After handing the soul ring he had just obtained, and the soul bone to Poseidon, he directly had the demon whale great white shark flee at top speed. This woman is formidable. And the sea god's lizard then stood majestically before the golden horned giant beast, as if to give his followers time to escape. But this behavior made the golden horned giant beast feel very displeased. What? Don't you ask me first before taking my things? Seeing the sea god directly take away his spoils of war, the golden horned giant beast was furious. Yet at this moment, he dared not act rashly, because the sea god before him was no ordinary being. Even though it's just a projection, it possesses incredible energy, reading a star-level powerhouse, but does he deserve it? According to planetary energy analysis, the titled Douluo levels 91-99 on Douluo continent correspond to planetary powerhouses in swallowing starry sky. However, looking at the actual situation, this matching seems questionable, because many titled Douluo's strength is actually quite weak, and the gods on Douluo continent also correspond respectively to star-level powerhouses in swallowing starry sky. The difference is that each level of a titled Douluo is equivalent to a small rank of a planetary powerhouse in swallowing starry sky. But for the gods in the divine realm, it takes 10 levels to equal 1 rank of a star-level powerhouse. This sea god before us is a first-level god, corresponding to the star-level powerhouses of the 3 realms in swallowing starry sky. That's already an extremely terrifying position. However, the opponent can currently only use about 20% of their energy, not enough to break the golden horned beast's defense. But breaking this sea god's clone projection is not an easy task either. You are not a member of our divine realm. I have never seen, nor are you from this continent. Who exactly are you? The sea god paid no heed to the golden horned beast's roar. After all, this guy is a god. How could he easily answer your question? Arrogance and prejudice are common flaws of those lofty beings. Humph, do I need to explain where I come from to you? You've merely lived a few more years. If the sea god's true body stood before him, the golden horned beast might indeed hesitate. The wisest choice would be to avoid the sharp edge. But this guy isn't a physical entity now, but a void energy, possessing only about 20% of the true body. Seeing this, the golden horned beast not only doesn't want to flee, but also longs to devour this energy body. If so, it could very well greatly elevate the golden horned beast's rank. After all, a stellar-level energy body like this isn't something you encounter every day. I advise you to go back where you came from. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Much like the golden horned beast's feeling, the one before him, even the sea god dares not act rashly, because this terrifying monster before him also gave him a fresh feeling. One careless move and he could easily capsize in the gutter. After all, the sea god had clearly witnessed it from the side earlier. This monster tore apart the deep-sea platinum king with its own hands, and to that extent, the current sea god's attraction is unable to achieve. So the scene seemed to enter a stalemate phase. But this balance was soon broken. This sea god avatar before him was actually still a part of Poseidon's 9th soul ring. It was a wondrous connection between heaven and earth. But as Poseidon drifted away, this avatar phantom of the sea god suddenly became somewhat unstable. The golden horned giant beast is such a sensitive creature. With just one glance, it could tell the other side lacked confidence. No need for further words. Straight into battle. If something can be settled through war, don't waste words. After Benzun Tiandi let out a low roar, the golden horned giant beast's body rapidly shrank. From its original 20+ meters, it became less than 5 meters in length. This was another trait of Benzun Tiandi. After shrinking its body, its combat power could multiply exponentially. It felt like all the essence was condensed together. What do you mean? The sea god. The moment he sensed his opponent's explosive aura, it was already too late. He saw the golden horned beast before him, like a black cannonball, charging headfirst with its massive golden horn. It rushed straight at the sea god. Caught off guard, the sea god could only raise his golden trident to block. But the problem was, it wasn't a physical object. It was condensed from energy. After being briefly blocked, the golden horned beast, now close, suddenly raised its head, opening its terrifying maw, its sharp fangs reflecting the light, gleamed with a dreadful radiance. Devouring was its formidable innate ability. This time the sea god had no time to react. The energy-formed trident in his hand was viciously bitten by the beast. Against the current, it was an inconceivable devouring force. The sea god's trident, forged from spiritual energy, snapped instantly into 2 pieces. A large portion of that energy was swallowed whole by the golden horned beast. Good grief, that was the sea god's energy. Completely different from your star beast's origin energy. They were entirely distinct. But the Golden Horned Giant Beast's digestive ability is just that good, especially after using the Devour skill. It instantly turned that golden energy into power it could use for itself. And that's not all. While devouring the opponent's weapon, this Golden Horned Giant Beast, mimicking the Deep-Sea Demon Gold King's move from earlier, quickly swung its tail, sending that massive tail covered in terrifying bone spikes, stabbing toward the opponent like a steel whip. The Sea God simply couldn't block such fierce power. It could only raise the Sea God Trident already broken in two to barely shield its chest. But little did it know, this played right into the Golden Horned Giant Beast's plan. Devouring it was a matter of an instant. This Sea God completely lost all its defensive and offensive capabilities. That Sea God Trident formed from energy all became nourishment for the Golden Horned Giant Beast. Don't push your luck. Do you know the consequences of opposing our divine race? Even so, the Sea God still maintained an arrogant, condescending posture. This guy actually thought he could use his background to make the Golden Horned Giant Beast back off. Ridiculous, ha ha ha. Background? I could even swallow this entire planet of yours. Talking about background with me? As if I just heard some ridiculous joke. The Golden Horned Beast's body swelled up again. On that Sea God's trident, gathered the form of most of this phantom before us. This energy caused the Golden Horned Beast's power to surge. Now it had rapidly grown into a planetary level, peak 9th stage star beast. After its body swelled, its maximum height exceeded 500 meters. It was even twice as large as this massive Sea God phantom before us. So what should be done next? Of course, devour all the remaining energy. This is all a gift from Lord Sea God. Once it finishes digesting, the Golden Horned Beast will surely advance to the stellar level. Isn't it just a piece of cake? No matter how hard the Sea God's avatar resists, this guy is at most just an energy body. After successfully devouring it, every pore of the Golden Horned Beast seemed to radiate an incredible colorful glow. These colorful glows were then absorbed back into the Golden Horned Beast's body. Soon they burst forth again as golden light. This process repeated over and over, and this creature's aura grew stronger and stronger. This is the process of going from planetary peak to transforming into the stellar level. This process can be explained using the sun, which everyone knows best. At this moment, the Golden Horned Giant Beast is like the sun in its most active period. Its surface constantly emits solar storms, wave after wave of solar flares. It feels like it's about to burst apart. But in reality, it's just merging internal and external energy together. While gaining an elevation in power, it continuously washes the inside of the Golden Horned Giant Beast. As everyone knows, after becoming a planetary level powerhouse, a spherical energy mass, similar to a planet, will form inside the body. The Golden Horned Giant Beast has far more refined control over this energy than humans do. And after breaking through to the stellar level, a small star can form inside his body, similar to a solar system, with one blazing star at the center, shining upon the surrounding planets. And each rotation and revolution of these planets and the star can provide the main body with limitless energy. If it one day grows to the true god level, this Golden Horned Giant Beast can not only form a small world inside its body, but also swallow all the heavens outside into its own small universe. That's when it truly becomes terrifying. This is also the ultimate goal of every Golden Horned Beast. Of course, the one in the Starry Sky 8 is the exception. The Golden Horned Beast was rather unlucky. Before it could even leave the newbie village, it was defeated by Luo Feng, who seized its final power, thus creating a super overlord like Luo Chengzhu. So what Wang Xuan needs to do now is to grow up first in the myriad worlds. He absolutely cannot let Luo Feng get the upper hand. Even by the day they truly meet, he can shatter the future Luo Chengzhu with a single slap. Of course, that's all in the future. Let's deal with the matter at hand first. After taking down the Sea God, it's the Sea God's turn to fall. The Golden Horned Beast's previous prey, the soul ring and soul bone of the Deep-Sea Demon King, are still there. They must be reclaimed. Then these people of Sea God Island need to be given a profound lesson. Of course, the moment the Sea God's avatar was destroyed, Poseidon sensed it immediately. That was summoned using his 9th soul technique. It's connected to his main body. At this moment, Poseidon's face turned pale. If not for the sea maiden Douluo beside her catching her, this woman would have nearly collapsed to the ground. Lady Poseidon, what's wrong? Never mind me, I'm fine. Hurry, go contact Tang San. Tell him to come to Sea God Island quickly. A very bad premonition appeared in Poseidon's mind. She didn't expect the Golden Horned Beast to be so formidable. Even the projection of the Sea God couldn't stop it. But my lord, it's not yet time for Tang San's 8th trial. There's no time. Quickly send the Sea Douluo to help. Is Poseidon really crazy, sending out both of her titled Douluo powerhouses? All of them. All 4. Getting Tang San to the Sea God Island as quickly as possible. The reason for this, of course, can't be known to everyone. Otherwise, it would definitely cause massive panic. If people found out that the Deep Sea Platinum King in the ocean has been killed, and their Sea God Lord can no longer protect Sea God Island, then people's faith would definitely collapse. That absolutely cannot happen. She must, before the Golden Horned Beast arrives, hand over the Deep-Sea Demon Gold King's soul ring and soul bone to him. As for the 8th or 9th trial, that's just a formality. Trivial and insignificant. If all the treasures were seized by the Deep-Sea Demon Gold King, then the inheritance of the Sea God would be utterly impossible. At this moment, that monster seemed to still be in the process of evolving. This was also the last chance for those 2 titled Douluo powerhouses to leave Sea God Island. However, Sea Maiden Douluo clearly sensed something was wrong. But just as this indecisive woman was about to say something more, she was pulled by the arm by Sea Calamity Douluo beside her. Let's go quickly. We don't have much time left. At this time, Tang San, with the help of his father Tang Hao, had successfully concluded the Battle of Jilin Pass. Though his physical strength was greatly depleted, his gains were also tremendous. The current Spirit Empire was powerless to resist. Apart from that angel princess who had yet to appear, nothing could stop the combined army of the Heaven Dew Empire and the Shrek Empire. For Tang San, this period was also a rare moment of peace. But this young man never expected that, just as he wanted to stop and enjoy some precious time alone with Xiao Wu. The two titled Douluo powerhouses from Sea God Island took the initiative to visit him. And without saying a word, they're going to pull all the Shrek 7 devils over there. What's going on? What kind of biengu happened? Tang San was somewhat puzzled. He felt like Sea God Island had run into trouble this time. Tang San, don't worry about that. If you still want to inherit the power of the Sea God, follow me right now. Sea Maiden Douluo. Yes. She showed such an anxious and serious expression for the first time. This was definitely not a joke. Among all the Sea Douluo, everyone had the closest relationship with this elder sister, so everyone quickly realized the severity of the problem. All I can tell you is that Sea God Island has been attacked. Tang San's inheritance is in imminent danger. We need to hurry, but actually, no matter how quickly these people return to Sea God Island, there was no way to turn the tide anymore. Just half a day after those two titled Douluo left, in less than a day, the golden horned beast quickly completed its evolution. Now, even without transforming, its body length exceeded 500 meters. Whether flying or swimming, its speed increased by many times. The energy barriers around Sea God Island, in its eyes they weren't worth cutting at all. A piece of cake. Of course, there are still those who fearlessly step forward to block the way, such as the demon soul Great White Shark. The group leader Xiaobai, you monster, retreat. Looking at this creature before her, originally a behemoth about the same size as herself, Xiaobai's heart was filled with fear. In the Soul Beast world, size represents power. But as the guardian of Sea God Island, she could not retreat. Get out of the way! The golden-horned giant beast paid no heed. It merely let out a wild roar at the remaining sharks before it. That powerful sound wave formed a white shockwave, instantly creating dozens of massive tornadoes on the shallow shores of the sea. Xiaobai was, after all, a soul beast of the 100,000-year level, but at this moment she was utterly no match. Together with the remaining demon soul Great White Sharks, she was instantly hurled high into the air by these tornadoes, then slammed violently down in all directions. When the dazed Xiaobai slowly came to, all she saw was smoke rising from every corner of Sea God Island. That giant monster was rampaging wildly, as if no one could stand in its way. Come here, little cookie. This was truly a scene of utter despair. Originally, Sea God Island had tens of thousands of soul masters, a blazing fire, united in resolve to live and die with Sea God Island. But when they picked up their weapons and put on their strongest armor, they saw the golden-horned giant beast standing by the sea, suddenly make an unbelievable move. This starry sky giant beast opened its massive jaws and unleashed its secret technique, Devour. Swallow. Then they saw the weapons and armor of everyone present float up into the air on their own. Then, at an incredible speed, all of them rushed toward the golden-horned giant beast's massive mouth. What's going on? This thing can devour metal. What kind of ability is that? The golden-horned giant beast's mouth was like a bottomless pit. First, all the weapons and equipment of everyone present. Then the buildings in the square, including the metal elements within them. And finally, even the ordinary residents. Pots, bowls, and utensils at home were not spared. Anything even remotely related to metal was all devoured by this terrifying golden-horned giant beast. The most tragic part was Poseidon couldn't even keep the scepter she had used for decades. The scene before them was absolutely devastating. This golden-horned giant beast was not only immensely powerful, but also possessed an incredible devouring force. Facing such a terrifying opponent, it can absolutely make people lose all their confidence. How can anyone even fight back? Weapons and armor were all devoured by it. Pots, bowls, ladles, and pans were swallowed too. Are you asking these unarmed people to fight this beast with their bare hands? What's more, even Hailong Douluo was slapped away by it. Keep it low-key. Who else can resist this terrifying beast? Could today be the day Sea God Island falls? If we had to use a song to describe Poseidon's feelings right now, it would definitely be Sister Nai's Conquest. Just like that, I'm conquered by you, drinking the poison you hid away. My mood is, this is simply not an opponent humans can defeat. Unless the sea god descends in person, who else could possibly stand against it? As for the despairing looks in the eyes of the people on Sea God Island, the golden horned giant beast completely ignores them. After absorbing so much metal, it suddenly felt comfortable all over. The scales on its body became even more textured, and in the gaps between the scales, a metallic fluid also appeared. So these places that were easy to invade have now become extremely tough as well. Compared to the soul rings it devoured before, the higher the purity of the metal's power, the more it becomes the golden horned giant beast's favorite. Moreover, the current Douluo continent is in the age of cold weapons. For the golden horned giant beast, the metal reserves on this Sea God Island are not enough to satisfy its demands. It's better to destroy this place quickly and go plunder the Douluo continent. That's where more metal can be found. After all, the three great empires right now are right at the center of the war. They must have a massive amount of metal products there. That would be a true feast for the golden horned giant beast. However, things aren't that simple. just as this creature was wreaking havoc. The remaining titled Douluo on Sea God Island finally couldn't hold back anymore. Seahorse Douluo, Sea for Douluo, Sea Star Douluo, and Sea Ghost Douluo all stepped forward, leading their own factions, ready to defend Sea God Island with their very flesh and blood. Wait, all of you! Don't throw your lives away for nothing! Sea Dragon Douluo, having regained his senses, tried desperately to stop them, but he was already a crippled man. All his soul power had been drained dry by the enemy. Even his soul rings were devoured like snacks, the former top expert of Sea God Island. And so he met his end. Brother Hailong, don't try to stop us anymore. We have already prepared to live and die together with Sea God Island. Haima Douluo shoved his big brother aside, then charged forward first. Meanwhile, the golden horned beast who was wandering around also sensed these four fearless fools. But at this moment, he just shook his head disdainfully. Maybe I was truly wrong. The titled Douluo on your planet are simply not worthy of being called planetary-level powerhouses. According to the golden horned beast's inheritance, every planet with a renowned reputation will eventually produce some top-tier figures. For example, in the world of Swallowed Star, there appeared the Red River Thunder God and the HR Alliance Council members. These are the top figures on the planet, so they all advance to planetary level. Logically speaking, in the world of Douluo, the top figures are these titled Douluo powerhouses. But aside from that level 95 Sea Dragon Douluo, who barely counts as planetary level, the rest of them really aren't up to par, especially that Seahorse Douluo. If the Golden Horn Giant Beast level wasn't high before, so when it first encountered these titled Douluo, it made a wrong judgment. But now it seems, except for a few individual elites, like Tang Senkian, Renjia, Golden Crocodile Douluo, and others, the vast majority of titled Douluo are quite weak, at most equivalent to a human's initial war god. We overestimated them before, so for those few million strong forces, charging over like they were pumped full of adrenaline, the Golden Horn Giant Beast didn't even bother to look at them. When it was a planetary level beast, it could easily one-shot Sea Dragon Douluo, let alone now that it's already at stellar level. It was just a simple sound wave, but a stellar level beast and a planetary level beast produced different effects. That violent wave of sound in the air, it formed a very obvious rotating shockwave. Combined with the Golden Horn Giant Beast's condescending stance, it instantly enveloped all four of them. Why can't my body move? Me too, damn it, The gap between us and him is too big. It was only at this moment that these four Sea Douluo in thin jackets realized the gap between themselves and him. Originally, they still had metal armor on them that could help block some damage. But after the Golden Horn Giant Beast's plunder just now, on the entire Sea Cucumber Island, let alone equipment, even a single screw couldn't be found. It was devoured by him, clean and completely. You guys, will you willingly offer yourselves to me? Your soul rings have a bit of flavor. Looking at the four guys lying on the ground, the Golden Horned Giant Beast had no interest in killing them. It wasn't out of mercy, but simply because it had no interest. Would you have a lion deliberately step on a few ants to death? Probably not, however. These guys all have soul rings of the 50,000-year level. To the Golden Horned Giant Beast, this taste is a bit like dark chocolate. After all, it's better than the tasteless metal. This might be the best thing on the Douluo continent. The only thing that interests the Golden Horned Giant Beast. Devouring... Wait, why is soul power flowing out? Damn, this thing is devouring our soul rings. Run! Damn it! Soul power was drained in an instant. They didn't even have a chance to self-destruct. It took about half a minute or so. At the edge of the Golden Horned Giant Beast's claws, four more powerless mortals appeared. As for the subordinates they brought along, they had already fled long ago at the sight of this. The rest knelt on the ground, kowtowing and begging for mercy. So this is the strength of Sea God Island. Speechless. Just as the Golden Horned Giant Beast was feeling bored, it even thought about taking a nap on Sea God Island. But this creature didn't sense that on the other side of the sea, a small boat was rushing toward this place at top speed. And standing on that boat were the most elite group of young people on this Douluo continent, the legendary Shrek 7 Devils. The ones leading them were the Sea Caller Douluo and the Sea Maiden Douluo. Those two were lucky. If they had stayed behind, they would have become mortals by now too. Sirs, I wonder what exactly happened to Sea God Island. Can you reveal it now? As the captain of Shrek Academy. But Mubai has always had this question in his heart. When those two Douluo came before, the specific reason, they never mentioned it. That is to say, now Sea God Island is facing a huge challenge, and it will directly affect the assessments of these inheritors. The inheritors' trials, especially Tang San and Xiao Wu. Perhaps the two of them won't even be able to complete the 8th trial smoothly. So, even though the relationship with the Spirit Empire is still very tense, the members of the Shrek 7 Devils still gathered together and rushed towards Sea God Island at top speed. Only after they got on the ship did Sihuan Douluo let out a faint sigh. And beside her, Sea Maiden Douluo even burst into tears with a wail. This left Tang San and the others at a loss. Don't cry. Tell me what exactly is going on. As a member of the Soul Beast clan, Xiao Wu had a sharper intuition. She went straight up and held Sea Maiden Douluo's hands, comforting her with the gentlest voice. Only then, this Sea Maiden Douluo finally looked aggrieved as she leaned against Xiao Wu. When we came out, Sea God Island had already been attacked. We still don't know how things are now. So these two took advantage of the earlier Golden Horn Giant Beast evolution to escape. 1 or 2 days have already passed by now. Sea God Island might have already fallen. When they were leaving, the expression on Poseidon's face was extremely grim. I believe these two should also be able to guess the outcome, right? Some things really can't be stopped by human power. Man conquers nature has completely lost its footing. This is a disaster. A hopeless calamity. That monster with a golden horn on its head is definitely not something they can handle. This Douluo continent, for ordinary people like them, is simply a crushing blow. Intermittently, after she finished telling what she knew, the small boat fell into dead silence. How terrifying. Even the deep-sea demon king was easily killed by that thing. Even the invincible Poseidon had no way out. Such a thing is simply unheard of. Even Tang San. They all involuntarily summoned the sea god's trident. The sea god's trident was summoned. They stared warily at the sea surface before them, afraid that in the sea ahead, a terrifying monster might suddenly emerge. How could it be like this? How about we go back? I'm scared. Ning Rongrong had completely lost the courage she had when facing the martial soul. Empire in battle. This pampered little princess voiced the true feelings in everyone's hearts at that moment. Rongrong, don't be afraid. I'm here, Oscar. At this moment, it was the perfect chance to show off his manly courage. But Ning Rongrong could clearly feel her fiancé's hand. Such a horrifying matter. No one's heart wasn't filled with worry. And Xiao Wu was tightly embracing Juju Qing, comforting and encouraging each other. It was said, that monster had no human emotions at all. In its eyes, there was only slaughter. It was utterly incapable of showing mercy to women. This was truly terrifying. Xiao Ao is right. We are the last hope of Sea God Island. We absolutely cannot retreat at this moment. As he spoke, Tang San's body radiated a burst of golden light, wave after wave. This is the light of the sea god, which can serve to calm people's hearts. But soon, a ripple appeared to the north of the small boat. A white creature surfaced from the water, wriggling its way rapidly toward them. It looked somewhat like a shark. It was a demon soul great white shark, but not the familiar Xiaobai. Rather, it was one that looked exceptionally beautiful for a demon soul great white shark. That was Xiaobai's daughter, Bai Shushu. The Sea Maiden Douluo recognized the newcomer's identity at a glance. This is a communication power of the Sea Maiden Douluo, allowing humans and sea soul beasts to communicate without barriers. Bai Shushu, why have you come? How is Sea God Island? Who would have thought that this demon soul great white shark would have such a beautiful name? Through the introduction of the Sea Radiance Doubt, Luo beside them, they learned that the beautiful Xiaobai already had a child. Please, two lords, hurry and save Sea God Island! Lord Poseidon and the several Sea Douluo lords are in danger. That was a very pleasant-sounding little girl. Her voice contrasted sharply with the fierce appearance of the demon soul great white shark, creating an obvious contrast. This little girl doesn't yet have the strength to be reckless, but once she reaches the 100,000-year level, she'll probably become a cute little girl like Xiao Wu. What's going on? Where's your mother, Xiaobai? Sob, 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 mother is missing. The uncles and elders of the demon soul great white sharks were all moved to tears by Bai Shushu's crying, and she kept frantically wagging her tail while swimming. This is the demon soul great white shark's way of venting its emotions. How terrifying. Has Sea God Island now turned into a battlefield of carnage? Fortunately, Bai Shushu was previously well hidden, under the cover of her clansmen. Otherwise, if this little girl had seen her mother, Xiaobai, being knocked flying by the golden horned giant beast, she might have suffered permanent psychological trauma. That guy doesn't have an ounce of chivalry toward women. Too brutal, everyone. We must prepare ourselves. This will be a fierce battle. Hearing Bai Shushu's first-hand account, a hint of solemnity flashed in Tang San's eyes. His originally firm resolve was now beginning to waver. The black island faintly appearing in the distance seemed to have turned into a sea giant beast, opening its bloody mouth wide toward them. The monsters on that island are probably far more terrifying than Bibi Dong. Even Bibi Dong plus Golden Evil Douluo, along with those allies of the Spirit Empire, combined together, they wouldn't match that creature's power. Thinking of this, Tang San's grip on the sea god trident tightened even more. Third brother, Xiao Wu will be with you. Feeling her man's tense emotions, Xiao Wu slowly wrapped her arm around his and leaned her head close into her beloved man's embrace. That tenderness is truly a pitiful sight to behold. But this kind of public display of affection, isn't it going too far? Even the golden horned giant beast in the distance saw it and wished it could come over and slap him. Yes, Tang-san. They could only see a faint outline of the island now. But the golden horned giant beast had already spotted this small boat and clearly saw each of their faces and movements. Oh ho, the chosen one of Douluo continent has arrived. I hope you're not too old. The golden horned giant beast stretched lazily and slowly rose to its feet. And kneeling beneath its feet was none other than Poseidon, along with the countless disciples of Sea God Island. It wasn't Poseidon who betrayed the sea god. It was this woman who wanted to use her own life to trade for everyone's safety. Great golden horned giant beast, please spare these children's lives. I am willing, Poseidon. I have no interest in an old woman like you. Hand over the deep-sea demon Gold King's soul ring and soul bone. Now, the only thing that can pique the golden horned giant beast's interest is the treasure of that million-year soul beast. But Poseidon used some unknown power. Even though the golden horned giant beast searched the entire island, he couldn't find any trace of it. Remember him? He almost wanted to slap Poseidon to death with one blow, but reason told him that if he really did that, he would probably never find it in this lifetime. And precisely because of this, the people of Sea God Island could still cling to life. But with Shrek's strange approach, it seems a new great war is inevitable. Respected Lord, if you are willing to let them leave, I can give you the deep-sea demon Gold Kings. Poseidon had been stalling for time all along. This woman's duty is to defend everything of the sea god. The deep-sea demon Gold King's soul ring and soul bone are the most important part of the sea god's 9 trials. It is also Tangsan, the key to whether he can truly become the sea god. But Poseidon also cannot abandon the lives of over 100,000 people on the island. So, this cunning woman wants to use this method to stall for time. But does Poseidon really think this? Golden Horned Beast knows nothing? Don't underestimate the intelligence of a transmigrator. Little ones, are you ready? The exchange with Poseidon ends here. Next is the part that truly interests the Golden Horned Beast. After all, the Shrek 7 devils are the sole figures of the entire Douluo continent, especially Tangsan, who is the character running through all 5 Douluo series. Don't disappoint me too much. Tangsan may not yet see the distant Golden Horned Beast, but the Golden Horned Beast has already begun to sense Tangsan's power. Compared to those trash before, Tangsan truly counts as planetary level. You know, even that level 95 Sea Dragon Douluo from before couldn't defeat a Soul Douluo level Tangsan. Soul power level is not the true standard for measuring whether one is a strong person. Overall combat strength is what determines whether he has crossed into the planetary level threshold. Clearly on this entire ship, only Tangsan truly counts as a genuine planetary level, and if paired with Ning Rongrong's 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda, his combat power could be greatly enhanced. Interesting. Stop just as the Golden Horned Beast reached the seaside and was preparing to fight. Behind him, a massive pillar of light suddenly appeared. Is it Bo Sykesy? That woman is up to something again. Could she be planning to warn Tangsan? No, why is this power blood red? Faintly carrying a killing intent? And Bo Sykesy's soul power is clearly ocean blue like the sea. This seems to be an even more powerful existence. Tangchen, why are you here? That was an exclamation from Bo Sykesy, which directly reminded the Golden Horned Beast of Tangchen, the Slaughter King, the failure of the Asura god's assessment. Good grief, although this old man before them didn't appear much in the anime. As a Douluo fan, Wang Xuan, at first glance, he recognized the legendary first-generation Haotian Douluo. Legend has it that Tang Chen had secretly loved Poseidon for a long time. At the final moment of his life, this man appeared. He even arrived earlier than Tang San. Poseidon, I've come to fulfill the promise I made back then. Great, what a touching line. A warrior charging for love? But aren't these two picking the wrong time for a reunion? Tang Chen, the ancestor of the Haotian sect? Perfect, your great-grandson is on his way here. Hearing that cheesy dialogue behind him, the golden-horned giant beast turned its head. With an expression it thought was decent, it squeezed out a smile. But to the other party, it was such a ferocious expression. What soul beast are you? I, Tang Chen, have traveled to every corner of the Douluo continent, and I've never seen one like you. Seeing the other party's ill intent, and also seeing Poseidon, who was only wearing thin clothing, Tang Chen immediately became fully alert. Then he saw this old fellow directly unleash his strongest killing domain. A massive Haotian hammer appeared in his hand. This is clearly a hero saving a damsel in distress. But after seeing this scene, Poseidon was greatly shocked. She quickly hugged her beloved's waist from behind. Don't act rashly. This creature can devour all metal. Previously, Poseidon's scepter and jewelry on her body were all swallowed by this terrifying beast. The entire Sea God Island doesn't even have a single piece of metal left. So seeing this scene, Poseidon quickly warned her beloved. Although the power of the clear sky hammer is immense, in front of the golden-horned beast, it's most likely no more than a sugar cane. What? Hearing Poseidon's warning, Tang Chen suddenly realized. No wonder when he first arrived at Sea God Island, he found it very strange. Why were all the weapons in these people's hands made of wood? So that's it. All the metal was eaten by this giant beast. What kind of species is this exactly? Could it really not be a product of the Douluo continent? I just ate many weapon spirits and they were all garbage. I wonder how your clear sky hammer tastes. The golden-horned beast didn't hide its greed at all. Staring at the clear sky hammer in Tang Chen's hand, it couldn't help but stick out its tongue. Licking his lips, does he have to be so direct? You'll scare her. Poseidon, I have already missed the beautiful times I could have spent with you. Today, no matter what, I will protect you. As he spoke, the 9 soul rings on Tang Chen's body lit up one by one. Even the outermost one was a 100,000-year soul ring. This guy really has a bad temper. Knowing there are tigers on the mountain, he still insists on heading toward the Tiger Mountain. You've got guts. I'll give you one chance to attack me. Let's see what's so special about your clear sky hammer. Though the golden-horned beast looks terrifying, this guy does have a human soul after all, and he was already quite full from eating earlier. Having finally come across the most classic clear sky hammer on this Douluo continent, this time he can't just swallow it without even looking. Otherwise, it would be too disappointing for the audience. Besides, Tang Chen and Poseidon were also a tragic couple in the original story. This old man actually doesn't have many days left to live. Splitting up a loving couple at this point wouldn't be right, would it? You will regret this. But to repay your respect, I'll use the strongest soul skill of the clear sky hammer. As he spoke, the old man's outermost red soul ring began to tremble violently. Seeing this scene, the golden-horned giant beast suddenly remembered the ring-bursting move he'd seen in that anime back then. Are you planning to use the Great Sumeru Hammer? Don't damage that 100,000-year soul ring. We still need to eat it, you know. You actually know the secrets of our Haotian sect. Just who are you, really? Although he was shocked by the golden-horned giant beast's words, Tang Chen couldn't turn back now. The super soul trace had already begun to activate. The sword was already on the bowstring. Once the arrow is loosed, there's no turning back.